So, in this video you are going to learn how to create this mini waitlist website with Framer and Airtable. We are going to learn how you can create the Framer website from the ground up and how you can connect that with Airtable so you can start collecting your potential customers' emails, but not only their emails, but also their initial feedback and input, so you can make sure that your product is something that they actually need. My name is Nandi, this is Framer University, and let's get started. So as you can see, we are here in Framer and we have this little project. This is what we are going to create. It's a mini waitlist website, it's nothing special. But yeah, if you don't know what is Framer, Framer is like a no-code tool for building websites. So you don't have to know how to code and you can still create websites. And it is not like Webflow, because in Webflow you still need to learn some HTML and CSS. Framer has a pretty similar interface to Figma, so it's pretty easy to get started with it. So yeah, but let's get started. I think we should first look at the Figma file itself, because here we have the logo that we need. So I'm just gonna have this frame here. As you can see, it's just a couple of shapes and text. You can just group them together and export it as an SVG. So I don't know, whatever logo you have, you can also just have an SVG file for that and paste it into the website. I say SVG because that's a vector-based format and it's much better for websites. I think it's kind of awkward when you have PNGs and JPEGs for logos on websites, but whatever, I really recommend you to export it as an SVG. So this is what I'm going to do here. So export this one, and we're going to be choosing the proper little Framer Systems folder, and we're going to be doing like a tutorial folder here. And yeah, we're just going to save it. I think that's all we need from here. We're going to be going to the pages panel here, because this is the home page. This is where you're going to be building it for yourself, but I'm going to go to the next page because this is a blank page and we can just build it from the ground up here. So let's get started with actually changing to the layers view, and I'm going to press F on my keyboard to draw a big frame here, and I'm going to remove its fill color on the right panel. What I want to do here is to make sure that its width is filling up the parent frame, which is the desktop breakpoint. But first I need to turn it into a stack. So that's what I just did here. And now I can go back to the frame here and set its width to fill. And then I'm going to make sure that the height is 100 VH, so it takes up the 100% of the given viewport. Now, as you can see, here is the frame itself, but the desktop breakpoint is not adjusting to it. So we're going to just set the height to fit content, so it fits this frame within itself. So I'm going to just rename this frame to main, because this will be the main frame on the website. And I think we can paste our logo in. So I'm just gonna get that file, just drag and drop on my logo here. Yeah, so as you can see now, it's here and not within the main. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select it, hit Command and X on my keyboard. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click this main frame and just Command and V here. So it's now within our main frame. We're going to center it by pressing Option H and Option V. And then I'm just going to make sure that it is a bit smaller. I can also go back to the home page and check what's the size that I have here. So it's around 300. So let's change it to 300. As you can see, I can also see the width here on the right panel. So now it's exactly the size that I need. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to logo and wrap this in a frame by pressing Option, Command and Enter. So now it's wrapped in a frame, and I'm going to rename this to content, because this will be the content within our website. So if we go back to the home page, you can see that we have this text, this button, and a little bit of social proof here. So let's start with the text. We're gonna be just pressing T on my keyboard and clicking on the canvas. and then I'm gonna write something here and make sure that we can actually see it. But I'm just gonna make sure that we have the same text because I don't know what exactly is written there. And I think I'm gonna also make sure that the size and everything is what we have on the original. Okay, so it's 20 pixels, so that's what we have to, so 20 pixels. And yeah, Satoshi medium is the font that we use, so we're gonna be selecting Satoshi and medium. And we also have a color set. So I'm just gonna also do the same thing that we did with the logo. So I'm gonna comment an X here, and then I'm gonna make sure that it is within the content by clicking into the content and pressing Command V to paste it in there. But as you can see, it looks pretty weird. It's because the content frame actually has fixed width and fixed height. So I'm gonna change that to fit content, so it will fit the content within the frame. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this little text a bit smaller, and then I'm gonna just change it to fill, so it fills up the available space. Then I'm gonna increase this gap here on the content frame to around 24, but I'm gonna make sure that we have the same that we have here. It's 36, so I'm just gonna copy it and paste it in right here. So now we have the logo and we have the description. Now what we have to do is to create the button itself. So to create the button, I'm gonna click into the content frame with the, and then typing out the text that we will have on the button, which is join the waitlist. And then I'm gonna select it and set the color to black. I'm setting the color to black because it will also have a frame, which will be kind of like this bluish, greenish color. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to select this little text that I just created, and I'm going to press Option, Command, and Enter on my keyboard. And then I'm going to set the width to fill, so it takes up the whole space here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set its fill to this accent color. And then we're gonna set padding here, so it's gonna be 14 on the top and on the bottom, and 22 on the sides, which is not really important because the button is taking up the whole space, so that's not really relevant. But yeah, so let's change the weight of the text to bold, and then make sure that we have this button on 8 pixel corner radius. Okay, so now it looks pretty cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move this down here, so it is below the text. By the way, if any of these things are a bit too complicated for you, make sure to go ahead and check out framer.university, because I'm going to come out with a new complete beginners course, which will be completely free. And yeah, it's gonna come out in September or in October, but it's coming out really soon and it's gonna be free. And I think it's gonna be a great little learning material for all of the beginners out there. So yeah, I just wanted to mention this. Okay, so let's rename this to button. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create a component out of this. The reason why I'm doing this is because we need a hover state for this button. Because if we preview this website with this button here, you can see that we have these, but this is not really a button because nothing really happens if we hover it. So what we're going to do is we're going to select it and right click, create component, and the name will be button. So here what we can do is we can add a hover state, and here on the hover state I can just maybe decrease the opacity of this color to something like 65%, and we can also make sure that it has a style, which is a cursor, to change the cursor to pointer when we hover the button. And we can also select this text here and add a style, which will be user select. So we cannot actually select it because the user select is set to none. Let's take a look at this right now. I think it works exactly the way we want it to work. So now this has a hover state. So what we will do is we'll make sure that it has a little link property on the right panel, because now as you can see we just have a title. We can write anything here, so maybe button, but change it back. So what we need here is a little link property where we can paste a link in that will be opened when clicking this button. So I'm going to go into this component, and on the primary variant here, I'm going to go to this right panel and click this link. And then I'm going to just create a variable here. And I'm going to also make sure that it will be opened in a new tab. And now, as you can see, if you click this button here, we have now this link property, and we'll be able to just paste in our link here. So the next thing that we need is to have a little social proof section. As you can see here, we say that already some people have joined, and we show some of these profile pictures. This just gives the visitor a feeling that others are also joining, and it makes it more likely that that specific visitor will also join. So to create that, we're going to wrap this button in another frame by pressing Option, Command and Enter, and we're going to rename this to button plus social. And here I'm going to go back and make sure to get the spacing right. I think it's 20 pixels, yes. So I'm going to have my text here, write maybe 56 already joined, and then make sure that it is white so we can actually see what is here. But no, actually it's not going to be white, it's going to be gray, because that's what we need right here. So it's going to be medium, and we're going to make sure that we have exactly the same size that we have here, which is, I think, 14 pixels, yes. And saturation medium, that's exactly what we had, but the 14 pixels is something that is not exactly what we have here because it's 20. So let's change it to 14 pixels. And now it's pretty cool. We're just gonna Command an X here and paste it in here. And now it is within this frame. But as you can see, they are next to each other. So we're gonna change the stack direction to vertical. So now they are below each other. And we'll make sure that the alignment is to the left. And here I'm going to also create another frame for this little text because we want to have another element next to it. So I'm going to again press Option, Command and Enter on my keyboard and set this to fill. And again, this will be right alignment and vertical direction. Sorry, it will be horizontal because we need the elements right next to each other within this frame, but the distribute will be start, so it starts at the beginning of this little frame, and this space will be 20 between these two. So what we need to do here is we need to create these little avatars, which are basically frames that are fully rounded and have those images. So I'm going to press F on my keyboard and draw these little frames. I don't know what's the exact size that we used here, but let's see, it's 20 pixels, so let's do the exact same thing here. Okay, so now we have this frame here, but it is again not in the frame that I want it to be. So I'm just gonna again Command an X here and paste it in here. So here I'm gonna make sure that these are aligned to the center, and I'm gonna fully round its corner. And let's also make a little bit of a border, which is gonna be something like this in terms of color. And we're gonna remove the fill and switch it to image. And we're gonna pick an image. It's gonna be yarn. And yeah, we're gonna have 3 of these maybe. So I'm gonna just duplicate these with Command and D and just switch these images to different persons. So I have a couple of these profile pictures on my computer, and these are really good because if I need them, I can just use them for these little purposes, for these little tutorials. So it's pretty cool. So whatever. So I'm gonna also wrap these in a frame. I know we have a couple of frames here, as you might notice. In Framer, we just have to create these frames. You know, it's Framer, so you might expect that we're going to be creating these frames pretty regularly. So yeah, Option, Command and Enter, and yeah, what we're going to do here, it's a bit tricky. So I'm going to select these, and I'm going to set their position to absolute, because then I can move them around freely. So what I can do here is I can overlay them like this, so they are laying over each other. I'm just gonna make sure that the spacing is exactly the same between these by pressing this little button. Or I don't even know if I should press it, but I don't know what this does. Let's see what this does. Distribute horizontally. I think that's the button that we need. Let's see if I move this here and I press it again. Yes, that was the button that we needed. Okay, so what I noticed here is I need a bit of a thicker border, so maybe 1.5. Yeah, I think that looks great. And I'm just gonna adjust this frame that these are within, but maybe I don't even need to do that. I'm just gonna make it fill, and then I'm just gonna move this back here, and again make sure that they are distributed equally, so there are equal spacing between these. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all we need to do. Let's take a look at the website right now. As you can see, we have our logo, we have our description, we have a button, and then we also have these little images and a bit of a social proof. So what we can do right now is we can set up our Airtable so we can collect these juicy little emails. Oh, and one more little thing. We're gonna need to add some breakpoints, a tablet and a phone breakpoint, because only then the website will be displayed nicely on these devices. As you can see, our layout is pretty good because we don't have to change anything on these breakpoints. So yeah, we just need to add them, and that's all basically. So now we're gonna move into the next section, which will be in the browser. So I'm gonna switch to my browser. Okay, so here I am in my browser, and I just wanna give a shout out to Fons because he made this little website. It's community.guide, and this is what inspired me because he is also creating these little mini waitlist pages for his products, and he also uses Airtable. So that's where I got this little idea, and I thought that it might be also useful for you. So yeah, but the actual thing that we need to do, so here's the actual waitlist page that I have for my Framer system product, but we're making a bit different thing, but it is pretty similar. What I noticed here is that here the button is a bit different that we created here. So as you can see, this text here on the button, it's bigger because it's 20 pixels and it needs to be 16. It was a bit weird to me, but I didn't know what it was. So sorry that you had to look at this ugly button with this big text. I just cannot do anything about it now. So yeah, I just fixed it now. But I cannot go back in time. So yeah, let's go back to my browser. And yeah, here we are in Airtable. So this is actually what you're gonna see if you start collecting these waitlist subscribers. And what I like about Airtable is you can also collect input and like feedback from your potential customers. So as you can see, I'm asking them what type of websites they want to build with Framer systems and why do they think that this is something that they need. And as you can see, I am getting these subscribers and they're already giving me input and feedback so I can make sure that my product will be actually something that fits their needs. So yeah, and I'm also having their name and email, but I just don't want to show this to you here because, you know, that's their information and I don't want to expose them on my YouTube channel. So yeah, but the way you can set this up is pretty easy. You create a free Airtable account. It's completely free, just like Framer. You can also create a free Framer account with the link in the description. Everything is free basically, which is pretty cool. So once you create your Airtable account, you can create a table, which I'm going to do here. Add the table, create blank table. I'm going to call this tutorial. And this is loading now, but now we see the table itself. It's empty because we don't have any waitlist subscribers just yet, but we can set up different fields for the table. Okay, so for a table, ideally we need a name field, then an email field, and then some questions. So the name is good, and this one will be email. So let's change this to email, and I think I'm gonna just use single line text because, you know, email is not that long. And then here you can edit these fields and just pick from these type of fields. Maybe you want a multiple select where they can choose between multiple options, and they can also choose multiple, like they can choose more at the same time, or I don't know how to explain this, honestly. So we have option 1, maybe we have option 2, and maybe even we have option 3, or option 4, or option 5, or option 6, but I'm not going to do that. So we can also color code these, which looks obviously pretty cool, and we can also change these colors, which I'm not going to do right now because it's just going to be a long video, and I don't want it to be too long because then you're going to not watch it. So yeah, let's move into the next thing. We're going to just name it, I don't know, options. And then we're going to do the last one, which will be maybe just some feedback, some, I don't know, some basic question, which will be a long text, and we can ask something here. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now we have these fields, and now all we have to do is to create a new view, which will basically make this little waitlist form that we see right here. So this is what we're going to build. This is what I have for my live website. So as you can see, I also have on that website 4 fields. The first field is coming from here. What's your name? So they're going to type in their name, and I'm going to see that on the name field. They're typing their email. I'm going to see that on the email field. Then they answer this question. I'm going to see that on the third field, and they type in the answer. I'm going to see that on the last field. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to build with the form view. So let's come here and create a form view here. We're going to call it form whatever, create new view. And as you can see, we can customize this whole thing to make it look something like this. So we can add a title to it, and then we can also add a description. This can be anything, but what I did is I actually talked about myself and about this product that I'm about to launch, and this is what Fons also did, so I was inspired by him. Maybe it will load sometime, yeah. So he's doing the same thing, so I think it's a great idea to just talk a little bit about yourself and then just tell that this is a waitlist, and if you join, then you're going to be notified if the pre-sale starts or something like that. So yeah, this is what you can do here. You can even add the logo if you are on a paid plan, but probably you aren't. So yeah, we can rename this, so we can have what's your name, and we can click required if it's a required field. I like using required field because I'm not creating these fields to not be filled, so of course I'm gonna make them required. So the next one is what's your email. This will also be required, and the options will be what is your fave option, and this is gonna be a list because that's a much better view. It's gonna be also required, and the last one is what do you think, and this will be also required. Some people will definitely like just say something like a dot or something. As you can see here, I have a couple of people who just said like a smile, like a smiley or smile. I don't even know what's this, smile or smiley. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, but make it required because then you're going to be getting the, you know, the feedback and the input that you really need. So yeah, that's it. I think you can also do some stuff here which we don't really need, and you can also show a specific message when they submit the form. Let's see what I have right here. Thank you for joining the waitlist. So you can use exactly this. Let's just paste it in here. Okay, so that's it. Now what you can do is you can open the form to see how it looks like. So it looks like this, pretty nice. And what you can do is you can actually share the form, copy the link, jump back into Framer, select your button, link, and paste it in there. What this does is it will make the button lead to that form so they can join the waitlist there. So yeah, we have everything ready. What we need to do here is we need to publish this website. So I'm going to go here to the top right corner. It's pretty easy to publish websites in Framer. It couldn't be easier. So I'm just hitting publish and it's live on the internet. I know it's unbelievable, but yeah, it is. So I'm clicking this little button and adjusting this window so it fits my little monitor. And yeah, here we have the website. I'm clicking the button and here I am on the Airtable form. And I can join the waitlist. So let's create an example. So I'm Nandi. My email is Gmail. What's your favorite option? I love these options specifically, and I think that this thing is good. And I'm gonna submit this. And as you can see, we have the little text here. Thank you for joining the waitlist. And if we close this now and we go back to our little table, you can see it in the grid view that we have Nandi here. We had these little fields already here, which we can delete. And yeah, here we have Nandi, email, options, and the answer that we have. So yeah, that's it basically. And then you can, of course, export this whole list, and then you can, paste it into or upload or import it into your emailing software. So yeah, by the way, I don't know how you can export it. There is probably like a download CBS. So yeah, it's not that complicated. What I want to show you is, for example, here in the waitlist, what I did is I actually created or added an extension. So if you go to extensions and you add an extension, you can search for chart if you load. Yeah, thanks. So if you search for chart, you can add this, and then this thing will be added, and you can customize this, which table you want to display, and all sorts of things. But the thing is that you configure it for yourself, and you can, for example, track something. In this case, I want to track what type of websites they want to build. So as you can see, personal websites, marketing websites are the top. So this is really important to me because now I know that, okay, this component library needs to have personal components, or like components suitable for personal websites and marketing websites. And these will be also important, but maybe not when I first launch the product. So yeah, this is also like a handy little thing that you can do on your Airtable table. Yeah, what else? I think I want to show you a bonus tip or a bonus something. So as I said, this website here is completely free. You can add the custom domain. You can have a free Framer subdomain that you can choose between these. So .framer.website, .framer.photos, .framer.media, .framer.wiki, and .framer.ai. So this is the shortest, so I'm going to go with this, and I'm just going to, do something. And this is already taken. What the hell? Okay, tutorial. Okay, guys, I'm in a big trouble. Let's say something. God damn it. Okay, so you can choose something, and then you're gonna have, for example, say something.framer.ai. And this link is completely free. You don't have to pay for it. And then you basically have your waitlist website. But if you have some money in your pocket and you want to do something more custom, you can remove this domain, and then you can connect a domain you own. However, you can only do that if you are on a paid plan. So if you navigate to this little tab here, you're going to see all sorts of different plans, and you're going to choose the mini one because That's the cheapest. That's basically $5, as you can see here. It's in my local currency, but don't worry about it. Just trust me, it's $5. And it's perfect for landing pages, because with this plan, you just got to have like one page and a 404 page, and also a custom domain and 1,000 visitors per month. So if this is something that suits you, then you're good to go with just $5 per month. But if you need something, bigger or with more visitors, then you can have the basic. These are not really, expensive. Of course, it might be expensive for you, but if you look at different pricing options for Webflow or different softwares like that, they have usually higher prices. So these are really great here. And of course, if you don't need the custom domain, you can go with the free plan too. Okay, but what if you go with the mini or the basic or the pro plan, and if you want to add the custom domain? Then what you're going to do is you're going to come here and type in your domain that you own. So in this case, uikickstarter.com, and it is already taken, which is pretty bad. So I'm going to just remove it from my other website. Okay, so I just removed from my other website. So now I can set this one. So you type in your domain that you bought on Dreamhost, Namecheap, whatever. And then you get these DNS records that you have to set in your DNS settings. So what you do is you go to your domain name provider and you basically try to navigate to the DNS settings. So as you can see now, I'm in the DNS settings and I just click add record, and I have to add an A record that has this value and another one that has this one. And then what we need to do is a CNAME. So that's gonna be also added. The value will be size.framer.app and the host will be www. And we add these records, we wait a bit because it takes some time to refresh. And then you just go back here, you're gonna see that it is connected, a little red dot here, and then you can maybe republish it and your website will be on uikickstarter.com or probably on another domain, but yeah, on your custom domain. So yeah, it's gonna take a couple of minutes or maybe even hours, but yeah, if you follow these steps correctly, then it's gonna be on your custom domain. And also, if you couldn't do these things that I did here on my Dreamhost hosting thing, DNS settings, and complicated things, I have a video that's called Build Your Website with My Framer Template or something like that. If you watch that video, at the end somewhere I have a part where I do these things, or especially like the custom domain setup step by step, and I show everything. So if you didn't understand something or you struggle with something, you can watch that video, and I think it will help you. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you have your waitlist website up and running. Make sure to comment that little website in the comments so I can join the waitlist and others can also see it. So that's it for this tutorial. Make sure to like it and subscribe for more, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.